Hello everyone, this is Lulu. Today I'm going to make a shakuban, Japanese milk bread. This slightly sweet, buttery and milky bread, it's incredibly soft, fluffy and moist, even after toasting. We begin with a 520 gram of bread flour, 6 gram dry instant yeast, 30 gram milk powder, and give a gentle mix. Continuing adding 60 gram granulated sugar and 60 gram of condensed milk. Followed with 20 gram of honey. Also 100 gram of light cream. 100 gram of eggs. I used 2 eggs here. And 130 gram milk. I used whole milk today. You may also use 2% or skim milk. I like to manually mix dry and wet ingredients all together first before I turn on stand mixer. I use speed 4 to 6 to form them into a rough dough first. Once we have a rough dough like this, we can add in kosher salt, 6 gram. Here I continuing using speed 6, kneading the dough for about 8 to 10 minutes. After 8 to 10 minutes kneading, the dough should develop somewhat gluten and elasticity, but the dough still sticky. When you pull the dough apart, you will see the edge of the broken part is not as smooth. And this is the right time to add in unsalted butter, 40 grams. After butter is added in, we're going to using high speed 8 to 10, kneading this dough for about 10 to 15 minutes. Using an ice bucket underneath of the mixing bowl to keep all the ingredients in cooler temperature while long time kneading is necessary. And of course, the more you knead the dough, the stretchier it gets. And I'm going to share my window pane test technique to check the elasticity of the dough. Here's how. Pull off a small bite of the dough, gently stretch it into a square, then keep on stretching until it becomes a thin film in the middle. Check to see super thin membrane. Light can pass through. If there's a tearing, the tearing part is very smooth. And now we know this dough is properly kneaded, the gluten is well developed. Transfer the dough on working surface. Using both hands, gently pull the side of the dough to create tension on the outside and tuck the ends underneath the ball. I'm rotating the ball a quarter turn and perform another gentle drag towards to my body. Continue rotating and dragging a few more times until this ball is sufficiently taut and uniformly round. After that, we can separate the dough to 6 portions, about 190 gram per portion. The recipe I share today is for making 2 shakupan bread. So 3 portions is for making 1 loaf of bread. Make sure to cover the rest of the dough while we're working on the first dough. Using both hands again, gently pull the side of the dough to create tension on the outside and tuck the ends underneath the ball. Using the same technique to prepare all the dough and remember to put them in order. So I showed 2 different pictures of shakupan bread in the beginning of the video. One is a flat-topped, another one is a round-topped. So the round-topped loaf is baked without the lid, which allows it to stretch upward and have a light and a soft texture. On the other hand, the flat-topped loaf is baked with lid, so the evaporation of the water is minimal. It has a moist and chewier texture as a result, which is the one I'm making today. Other than with or without lid while we're baking, the rest of the recipe are the same for shakopang bread. Precise measurement is very important for this recipe. I highly recommend you weight your ingredients with a kitchen scale. After 6 portions of dough shaped into taut dough ball, now we're moving on to next step. Take the first dough ball, gently press down to release some air. Then use a rolling pin to roll up and down. Stretch the dough into a longer oval shape. It's about 8 to 10 centimeter width, 45 centimeter length. Then fold from top to center, then bottom to top to layer the dough. Placing folding side down on the working surface, use a rolling pin again to stretch the dough up and down. And this time, we'll roll the dough to 7 centimeter width and 55 centimeter length. Of course, the measurements of width and length is for your reference only. You may roll a little shorter or a little longer. Essentially, it will not affect the taste of the bread, but definitely keep consistent with all 6 portions of dough with a similar length and width. We're going to repeat this process one last time, folding from top to center, bottom to top, then flip folding part towards the working surface. Use a rolling pin, stretch from top to bottom, roll the dough to 7 centimeter width and 55 centimeter length. Now we're going to roll the flattened dough into a cylinder, pressing down as you go to create surface tension. Japanese milk bread requires particular loaf pan. I have shared and linked the loaf pan that I use in the description in case you're interested. Finally, pinch the end to close and placed in the loaf pan with the seam side down. Repeat the same process with the rest of dough. Then you will have 2 loaves of shakopang bread. I must say, shakopang bread is probably the best version of soft white bread to me. I just enjoy its milky sweet taste and pillowy softness. I use it frequently as a breakfast toast or sometimes use it for a sandwich. It has this delicate texture and subtly sweet taste. Not mention the beautiful exterior golden crust and interior white crumb that is light as a cloud and fluffy as a cotton. Some of my friends think shakopang tastes like brioche bread, but actually brioche is so different than shakopang. Brioche bread is made with eggs, also use a lot more butter than shakopang, and that's why brioche is much richer than shakopang bread. Also has its signature golden color and denser, chewier texture than shakopang bread. There's a tip I'd like to share as far as using stand mixer to make this bread. There's a little tip I'd like to share as far as using stand mixer for making this bread. If you have a KitchenAid Professional Series stand mixer, then definitely make 2 loaves of bread per time. Otherwise, the ball is too wide on the bottom. The wet shakopang dough would not engage the spiral hook. The KitchenAid Artisan Series stand mixer is a perfect tool to making a single loaf of shakopang. Now I'm working on the last piece of a dough, and after this one, we're going to proof the dough. The optimal temperature for fermenting and proofing bread dough is 86 to 95 degrees. During the summer and hot days, it's easy to find a good spot where it's nice and warm to rise in the dough. But during the winter or cold days, My recommendation is using oven. I often place dish of boiling water on the lower rack inside of the oven, place the bowl with the dough on the upper rack with the door closed. Therefore, I have nice and warm enough moisture environment for the dough to rise properly. We may use the same technique to rise the dough in microwave since we need to preheat oven sometimes, like I did today. Since I'm making flat top chocolate bread today, so I only want to rise 80%, leave 3 centimeter distance from the top. That will give me the room to close the lid. I have preheat my oven to 302 Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake those 2 loaves for 25 to 30 minutes. After 25 minutes, my chocolate bread is ready. Wow, it smells so good. And look at this golden crust. Give a good shake first, then remove them from baking tray onto baking rack. Then allow it naturally cools down. This milky and buttery smell is making me so hungry. It is so hot to flip over. Here you have it, shakopan, Japanese milk bread, made from Lulu's home kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. I will see you next time.